previews, and decisions. Were they a joke? Were they the right decision to make? This week on 30-Minute War. All right. Welcome into the 30-Minute War. And I said it at the top. Decisions. You know what? It's okay. Ryan Day chooses Kyle McCord to be quarterback one, QB one. May I remind everyone as well that Ohio State has not had I know this is an underlying topic that some picky people like to talk about. Ohio State hasn't had a white quarterback at QB1 since Beckham, I believe.
Jeez, yeah, you'd have to go back.
It's quite a ways back. So it's definitely a rarity. It was no other option this year. I think McCord was obviously chosen because of the experience with the starting the Akron game. It did allow for Ryan and Ohio State to see what he is capable of. It also gives him a one-up and helps him having the relationship previously with Marvin Harrison Jr., for sure, having gone to the same high school. So I'm sure to a degree, whether it was a big or a small degree, to a degree, I'm sure that was taken into consideration. And will this be the final decision on QB1? I don't think it will. Personally, I just don't. Obviously, Ryan did say both quarterbacks will play. Mm-hmm. So even though he announced the starter, underlyingly, it's still a competition. May the best man win.
So, for those of you who don't remember the recruiting situation with Kyle McCord, he went to a school called St. Joseph's in nearby my hometown in a place called Philadelphia. And he was recruited over another guy, Michigan's guy, J.J. McCarthy. Kyle McCord was chosen and recruited over J.J. McCarthy. And so I think that there's a little bit of sunk cost fallacy going on here, given the fact that he's got a year leg up of experience on Devin Brown in the system. He knows Ryan Day's system very well. He has maybe the shortest leash of a starting quarterback in a while. If he messes up in some of these games, Devin Brown's coming. It might even be game 2 because they're going to play both. And you have to think against Indiana, where Ohio State's favored by 30 points, that, he may do a Jim Harbaugh, and he may give, except it might be in one game. Maybe he gives Kyle McCord the first half, and then he gives Devin Brown the second half, right? And then game 2, maybe it's reversed. Maybe Devin Brown starts the first half and Kyle McCord goes the second half. But the bottom line is, I think they're going to both get auditioned. And he's picked McCord for game 1, snap 1, I think out of respect for what he's done with the program. But this is by no means a closed situation. He needed to pick somebody. And the fact that it took so long, I think, is an indictment on McCord. The fact that Devin Brown sat out spring camp, of course he had an injury, but he was out injured for spring ball. McCord had all spring to solidify himself as the starter. It's taken until now, and I don't think that looks very good for Kyle McCord. So If Notre Dame, if there's a struggle against Notre Dame and Kyle McCord is still the starting quarterback, expect a benching at that point, if not sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Ohio State finds itself in the loop again that they didn't want to. We're going back 8 years, back to 2015, when we had this issue again.
Oh,
the
yes.
first time. I didn't like the way it worked then. I hope that it's worked out differently this time, because the way they did it before was just an absolute joke.
Didn't Cardale start game 1?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, honestly, I don't hate that. He won the national championship.
No, I don't hate it either.
I don't hate it.
When it comes down to the way I hated it was, okay, well, Cardale, if it's from the 20 to the 20, it's all you.
Right,
Getting a red zone is JT Barrett. I'm
it's
like,
JT, yeah.
You're just messing up the rhythm of the offense by doing that.
Well, Urban liked to call his read option. He liked to call his quarterback runs. We know this not just from JT, but going all the way back to Tebow and the jump passes and the runs that Tebow did. So, I mean, this is a long-standing thing that he likes to do. So it doesn't shock me. But yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said on our very first video together, which I think is one of the most popular videos we've had. As I've said then, I think the path to beating Michigan, if you're going to beat Michigan, is losing to Notre Dame and getting McCord benched. That still stands, because that's still a very, very possible situation.
Yeah, I mean, the only other way to bench him would be to bench him after losing to a team you're not supposed to, like Michigan State, or I can't remember if we play Nebraska this year or not. Losing to a team like that is going to get you benched. But the problem is Notre Dame, the reason I agree with you, and I think Notre Dame could be the loss, is, throw out the fact that, like, Notre Dame hasn't beat Ohio State since 1936. Throw that out.
Yeah.
On the pure fact of Notre Dame, for one, actually looks really good this year. 2, It's not in week 1. And 3, that whole job thing is just up in the air.
Yeah, now we have to take Notre Dame's performance with a bit of a grain of salt. They were playing a dog shit Navy team with a brand new head coach. Their old head coach got fired because it wasn't working anymore. They were averaging like 4 wins a year. So we have to just take the performance with a bit of a grain of salt, but Sam Hartman looked really good. I have to confess, I didn't watch every Game 0 game, but I did watch some of that one. I had a date and a couple of things, so I was like, I wasn't gonna watch all of it, but I was gonna watch, some of Notre Dame, Navy, and Sam Hartman looked fantastic. The running backs looked fantastic, and I also saw a little bit of UMass and the Fighting Don Browns pull off the victory. So they've already matched last year's win total.
It's funny though. I guess we kind of have to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's a revolving circle. But if anybody remembers last season, Northwestern beat Nebraska in Dublin, Ireland. And that was their only win. They never won a game in the States. Notre Dame just beat the ever-loving crap out of Navy in Dublin, Ireland. So is Notre Dame destined to have probably the worst season in franchise history?
Oh, you're going to get all the Notre Dame people after you now. You're going to get Michael and Golden Playbook are coming after you for that comment. I don't think so. I think they're headed for 10 wins probably.
Honestly, yes. I do think that won't happen to Notre Dame. I think it'll happen to Navy, but Navy didn't win that game either. So, but yeah, I think this Notre Dame team is built better than last year's Northwestern team. But somebody's got to be the